Just leave Olivia. No need for lawyers or paperwork, Marcus said, watching me pack downstairs. His young girlfriend, Hannah, laughed as she rearranged our furniture. My furniture? I stayed calm, folding my clothes. Are you sure there's no legal separation? No formal divorce? I asked. Marcus leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. What's the point? He replied. You have your job. I have mine. Hannah and I want a fresh start. Lawyers will just make things messy, eh? I am Olivia Parker, 42. I thought my marriage was fine, 15 years, a nice house, a stable life. But life has its surprises, sometimes in the form of betrayal. Marcus checked his expensive watch, the one I bought him for our 10th anniversary. You're not in a position to demand anything. The house and cars are in my name. Your government job pays enough, you'll be fine. If only he knew. I zipped up my suitcase, took one last look around. Hannah's perfume lingered in the room. Her bag sat on my side of the bed. You're taking this well, Marcus said, expecting me to cry or beg. I smiled, recalling how I found out about his affair, not through text or lipstick stains, but in a far more interesting way. I've learned to pick my battles, I replied. But I'm surprised you don't want legal proof of our separation. He shrugged. Why bother? He said, you move out, Hannah moves in, and life goes on, no paper trail. That almost made me laugh. Downstairs, Hannah was already replacing my belongings. She barely looked up as I passed. I left some things in the study. I'll be back tomorrow. Whatever. Just text first, Marcus replied, already focused on Hannah. I loaded my suitcase into the car and stole a final glance through the window. Marcus and Hannah were laughing, caught up in their new life. I grabbed my phone and sent a quick message. Everything ready for tomorrow. Target confirmed. No legal documentation. Proceeding as planned. The reply came instantly. Understood. Team briefed. 9 and sharp. I took one last look at the house. What Marcus thought was his, what he never suspected was mine. He never questioned my job, never wondered why I handled our finances, never noticed how his investment portfolio always outperformed others. As I drove away, my phone buzzed again. Additional evidence collected. Operation confirmed for tomorrow. Marcus would finally understand what my job truly was. He'd learned that his wife, the woman he betrayed, had been protecting him all along. But not anymore. Exactly at 9 a.m., Justice arrived at his door, wearing a bulletproof vest and carrying a federal warrant. The next morning, I sat in an FBI surveillance van, sipping coffee while watching live feeds of my old house. Marcus's routine was predictable. 7:45 a.m., kitchen lights on, Hannah trying to cook his favorite breakfast. 8:15 a.m., Marcus showering, fixing his hair. 8:45 a.m., adjusting his tie in the hallway mirror. Target is getting ready to leave, Agent Torres said. All teams in position. A chorus of voices confirmed. You okay, Porries? Torres asked. Better than okay, I replied, watching Hannah kiss Marcus goodbye. It felt strange to be on this side of the operation. For 3 years, I had gathered evidence against Marcus's investment firm, initially just to uncover fraud, money laundering, and serious financial crimes. No wonder Marcus didn't want legal paperwork between us. He was hiding much more than an affair. At 8:55 a.m., Marcus stepped outside, briefcase in hand, still smug and thinking he was untouchable. He checked his reflection in the car window, straightening his tie, paid for with dirty money. All teams were ready. Torres, give the word. Go to the house. Prepare to intercept at his office, Torres ordered. I focused on Hannah inside, still unaware her dream life was about to unravel. At exactly 9 a.m., FBI agents surrounded the house. The doorbell rang. Hannah, dressed in my old robe, opened the door, confused. FBI, search warrant. Her confusion turned to panic. This has to be a mistake. No mistake, ma'am. Step aside. Elsewhere, Marcus was halfway to his office when flashing police lights appeared behind him. He slowed, pulling over. Target has stopped, an agent confirmed. Moving in, I heard. My phone buzzed with a message from Marcus. What did you do? I didn't reply. Instead, I watched as agents approached, guns ready. Marcus stepped out, hands raised. His expensive suit suddenly looked less powerful. Back at the house, Hannah sat crying on the couch as agents searched every corner. They knew exactly where to look, I had given them all the details. They found the first stash, a hidden safe in the study. Just as Agent Parker said, I smiled. Marcus had always praised my organization skills, never realizing I was using them against him. Torres turned to me. You knew about his crimes all along. I nodded. Discovered them 3 years ago. Started collecting evidence immediately. He never thought I was smart enough to understand his work, so he never bothered hiding it. And the mistress? I asked. Found out about Hannah 3 months ago. She wasn't the first, but she was the last straw. My phone buzzed again, this time from Marcus's lawyer. We need to talk now. Of course they did. They were just realizing the truth. No shared accounts, no assets in my name, no divorce papers. Not to protect Marcus, but to make it easier for the FBI to seize everything. On the screen, Hannah was being led out of the house, sobbing. She thought she was gaining a perfect life, her dreams, her future, but now she was about to be questioned as a witness in a federal case. Target is secure. Moving to phase 2, an agent announced. Raiding Marcus's office, Torres said. His colleagues would soon discover their star investment banker was a fraud, his high returns built on lies. Marcus was about to learn that his wife, the woman he underestimated, had been watching and preparing all along. One more text came, this time from Hannah. Did you know about this? I finally responded. Yes. Now you know why Marcus didn't want a paper trail. Torres patted my shoulder. Ready to head to the evidence analysis. I adjusted my FBI jacket. Let's go. Time to show them what a government job really looks like. 6 months later, I sat in a federal courthouse watching Marcus enter in his orange jumpsuit. No more expensive suit, no smug smile. The evidence I'd gathered over 3 years had devastated him and the firm. Hannah had turned state's witness almost immediately, eager to avoid charges herself. She provided additional details, conversations overheard, meetings witnessed, proving invaluable to the prosecution. The judge entered, and I caught Marcus's eye for the first time since his arrest. He looked at me, confusion and realization dawning. The sentencing was brief but impactful. 15 years, 1 for each year of our marriage. The irony was clear. Afterward, I met Agent Torres outside. 15 years, she said, handing me a coffee and full asset forfeiture documents. The restitution team has already begun returning funds to victims. I nodded, thinking about the house. Our house now up for auction. Hannah had moved back with her parents, her dreams of wealth shattered along with her reputation. As I turned to leave, Marcus's lawyer approached. Your ex-husband would like to speak with you. I hesitated, but curiosity won. Minutes later, I sat across from Marcus in a small conference room, guarded outside. Why didn't you tell me? He asked. All those years, you knew what I was doing. You could have warned me. I laughed softly. I did warn you. Remember all those times I questioned your investments? Suggested more transparency? You dismissed me, saying I couldn't understand your work. You never asked why I kept my job hidden, did you? You never showed any interest. You just assumed I was some bureaucrat pushing papers. When did you find out? 3 years ago, after that big client win and the offshore accounts. That's when I started building the case. I could have arrested you then, but I wanted to understand the full scope. He looked at me, eyes wide with shock. As the truth finally sank in, he leaned back, realization dawning, and Hannah's actions made my decision even easier. She showed me it was time to stop protecting him. A guard signaled that our window was closing. As I stood to leave, Marcus spoke again, his voice smaller than I'd ever heard it. I'm sorry, Olivia. Not just for Hannah, but for everything. I paused at the door. I knew. But sometimes, sorry just isn't enough. Outside, spring was arriving in the city. I walked with Tess to our office, where a new case awaited. Life was different now, better. No more hiding. No more pretending. No more protecting someone who never valued me. The team was taking me out tonight to celebrate the conviction. Tess smiled. You should come. I checked my phone. A text from my sister about dinner plans next week. Another from a friend about a weekend hiking trip. My life had expanded since Marcus's arrest, filled with people and possibilities I'd forgotten existed. Count me in, I replied. Later that evening, surrounded by colleagues who had become friends, I raised a glass to new beginnings. Someone asked if I regretted not turning Marcus in sooner. No, I said honestly. Everything happened exactly when it needed to. And it had. Marcus's arrest had exposed not just his crimes, but a wider network of financial fraud. The case earned me a promotion, respect from colleagues who'd worked on the investigation without knowing my personal connection, and, most importantly, my freedom. The house would be sold, assets distributed to victims, and Marcus would have plenty of time to reflect on his choices. Hannah had learned a hard lesson about trust and ambition. I heard she'd enrolled in community college. Perhaps something good would come of it all. As for me, I was exactly where I needed to be. My government job had become a source of pride. My colleagues, a source of strength. My future looked brighter than ever. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about standing back and letting justice take its course. Sometimes, it's about showing everyone, including yourself, exactly who you've been all along. The next morning, I walked into my office, new case files waiting on my desk, another financial fraud investigation, another opportunity to protect those who might be exploited. I smiled, thinking of Marcus's words, no need for legal papers. He'd been right, just not in the way he'd imagined. We hadn't needed divorce papers after all. Federal indictments had done the job just fine.